officers in charge. Excuse me, all the ladies in here. I saw a policeman. She couldn't have been more than 4'10" that day. You think the bros in the hood that are 6'6", 6'8" are worried about those cops? Stop me before I go too far. I've already gone way over the edge here. Yes, sir.
Speaking about these Christians that we aren't doing anything to help, what we do have is the other side of that. All Muslim invaders come here. When I was a kid growing up in Anaheim, there's about a block of Brooker Street that had a little section of Muslim. Now it stretches almost from Fullerton to Garden Grove. Anytime I go to a mall or anywhere, you see all kinds of ladies with a hijab, and they're all over the place. What are we supposed to do when a man and a woman get together and they have a family and they're averaging 1.6 kids instead of 2 or more, which means they're not even sustaining the population, let alone increasing it. And these people are coming here having 6 to 10 children per family. It looks like pretty soon we're going to be completely...
And not just 6 to 10 people, you're paying for them.
Well,
many of them are on welfare, getting government aid.
Are we supposed to drive them out? Are we supposed to make converts? What can we do about it?
Well, first of all, let's talk about be fruitful and multiply. Remember that one? Where do we see that today in the Christian homes? Nowhere. There are Christian homes there where people believe in God, where they are having families, normal families, but not much. The emphasis today is on self-gratification. If I have more kids, that means less iPods for me, less going out to dinner, less new cars every year. Do you think the Muslims care about that? They're here to take over our country. They're going to do whatever it takes. And they do it quietly. It's like, what's his name in Tripoli, in Libya. Gaddafi said, the war against the Christians in Europe will be won without firing a shot. France today, not even 10% of the Frenchmen attend church. Not even 10%. And meanwhile, you can't go one block without a mega mosque. France is going to be a thing of the past. In the next 20 years, Muhammad will be the most recognizable name in France. Same thing with England. There are some people that have woken up. I think Copenhagen, Denmark, I think, is not having any more immigration from the Middle East, to my knowledge. Australia as well. They've woken up, but again, these are the challenges we face. I think, knowing Americans, Bruce, my dear friend Bruce, I think I know Americans well, and Americans will ultimately wake up, and the Muslims know that we are armed to the frickin' teeth. Right?
Right.
And I don't think that there's going to be any question about what we're going to do when we feel threatened. I hate to put it that way. That's the only thing they understand. Now, they're going to try to take our guns away from us. They're doing it all day long, 24/7. LA County, I think, you can't buy ammunition. They got to go somewhere else. I don't know. They make it very difficult for you.
LA City, I believe you have to basically show ID to buy it.
Yeah. Well, of course, you don't have to show ID to vote, do you? You know what I'm saying? You get my drift? That's the whole point. You're being sucker punched. You need to wake up. I hope to God that coming here tonight is giving a few ideas to some of you folks and to think a little bit about where you want to go as a country. I hope that I've made a little bit of a difference. There's a few more questions. Sir?
Yes. Are you familiar with a prophecy in Deuteronomy 28?
Hello?
Sorry?
There's a prophecy in Deuteronomy 28.
What is it?
No.
I know the Bible, the Old Testament, backwards and forwards.
Okay. The alien among you will grow higher and higher. You will grow lower and lower.
Yep.
He will loan to you, and you will owe him.
That's right. Yep. That's what happens when we don't do the will of God.
Today confirm that prophecy.
Yeah. When we don't do what God wants us to do, that will for sure happen. And this country, I believe, my culture, my heritage, my traditions have told me that the only reason that this country became great, why did America become so great?
Because of God.
Because of belief in one God. And let me tell you right now, Allah is not God.
That's right.
Oh, I'll debate that with any minister or priest, and I know Pastor Wiley will be with me.
Amen.
He is not God. God created us in His image. He didn't create us to have our hands whacked off, or our tongues cut out our mouth, or our genitalia removed. It's not why He created us. And so therefore, Allah is not God. And we are up against the diabolical force.
Absolutely.
And I am waiting for the first American to get up and say it like it is. And forget about the consequences. When that American gets up, and even if he's jailed or whatever, Americans are going to wake up on that example. Let him be the banner. Let him be the poster boy, or she. There's a question? Yes, sir.
You have a problem here. We have a new generation that doesn't think like you do. And I'll give you an example. I recently saw something on television, I think it was PBS, a documentary filmmaker or some guy that does shorts or whatever. He did a test. He got somebody with a ISIS flag to go on a campus and start waving it around and talking about ISIS and promoting ISIS. Was it Berkeley? Was it Berkeley? Yeah. Okay, and nobody did anything except some of the students were giving him approval. They were waving, but the rest of them were very quiet about it. And then they did the same thing with somebody with a Jewish flag. And that brought a big response from the students. They were very anti-Jewish.
Well, that's a talk for another night. I want to let you know. If you find one normal Jew, let me know. I believe that, and I know what I'm talking about. Trust me on this one. The problem is that the Jews, especially the Israelis, they have to come out and say that Israel was created by God. And then everybody, and of course, they shot it down real quick because they didn't want to upset the Arabs. Anybody that goes to church knows that God created the earth in 6 days, and on the seventh day He rested. And everybody knows there was a man called Abraham. And everybody understands that through his seed, and through Isaac, and through Jacob's seed, would be the land of Israel. Everybody, of course, except for the Israelis. Somebody forgot to tell them about the Bible. No, I'm not at all amazed by that, because half of the Israelis don't believe in the Bible. And so therefore, what's going on in Israel is called a war of ideology. You don't see it. You're not going to hear about it. But it's there. And just tell that to all your Jewish neighbors that voted to Obama. Tell them that you heard a rabbi say that they're out of whack. And you can blame it on me. I'm not talking about worldwide. I don't care what the Buddhist secularists do. We're talking about what's going on in our Western Hemisphere. What happens in Uganda or New Zealand, it doesn't mean squat to us in America. We're Americans. We're concerned with survival here as a Western culture. Language, English. Our borders, secure. And our culture is American. We don't have to apologize for it. We like baseball, we like football, cars, surfing. We don't have to have a guilt trip about it. And this is the problem that I see, especially in the schools, where they have completely destroyed any nascent patriotic feeling. This is part of their agenda. And as I go up and down the state, when I used to, these are the issues I used to raise. These are existential issues that we are losing the game on. A lot of us work very hard, 2 jobs, 3 jobs to get along, and we're burnt out by the end of the day. But the gay lobby and the CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood, they work 24/7. While you're worried about paying your rent and your mortgage, they're nonstop. And this is the problem we face.
Yeah.
I think I should put it pretty much off. A couple
I
more
read
questions.
that George Soros had formed a corporation that was buying up all the gun manufacturers in this country. Do you know if that's true or not?
I think it is true. And I think that Americans need to wake up. And, one of the good things about Obama is, I will say, gun sales have skyrocketed. You talk to Winchester, Smith & Wesson, and Colt, they are very happy that Obama's in there.
Yes, but if Soros is buying them up, he can close them down too.
I don't know what the answer is to that, except it's all part of the same problem. A lack of patriotism, a lack of standing up for what's right.
That's right.
Might have been you.
How do you see our personal conversion fitting into all this? Talking about your mission before on the 7th day you got arrested. How are we honoring our Sabbath in order to make sure that God is on our side?
I think that America was founded in with God's presence, with God's blessing. I think that, kids see their parents, when they see their parents do something, they realize that's education. It's not do as I say and not as I do. When kids see what you do, when your family sees what you do, if you're honoring the Sabbath, if you're doing the commandments that you're supposed to do, that will make an impression on people. It's like action speaks louder than words. If you really believe in God, show it. Go to your church, tell your friends, have, study groups, spread the word. And spread the word that this is a nation of God, created by God.
Amen.
And the only way we can survive is if we return to Him. And then He will return to us. Yes?
Are you going to run for office again?
I keep threatening to do that. I really want to. Again, we have such pathetic leadership in this country. I mean, it's not even it's a joke.
Oh, I know.
Anybody could run. I mean, when people asked me when I was running, I think Bruce remembers, Bruce helped me with my campaign twice, I think. When people ask me, well, Rabbi, what's your background? What makes you feel that you're qualified to run? I said, well, I'm a Canary activist.
Community
And
work.
that's all, that put the kibosh on that issue. But anyway, I thank you all. Please don't leave without getting my card, getting a book. I promise you'll write me and thank me that you bought the book. It's only $10. You'll be sharing it with your friends. And this is my way of, shall I use the word inculcation, of my ideas to you and your family. And Godspeed to all of you. And I truly, I honor the Oath Keepers. An oath, as we know, is something very, very sacred and very, very profound. An oath is something that can't be taken back. Not on our watch. That's an oath. I take that oath very seriously. I am honored to be here. Semper Fi, as they say. God bless you all. I can sign a book if you want. My wife will be here. I got a pen to sign it. Your name, I can dedicate it. Just let me know.
Thank you. Great job. Great job. I want to touch on something that he mentioned. Because I'm actually dating a Russian. And she's not what they refer to as a Sov. Her parents fled Soviet Russia. Never lived in Soviet Russia. She was born here. But the thing I found interesting is she had a party with her community, as we call it. And they were talking about when the wall fell and the foreign Russians got together with the Soviets. What the Soviets learned about their own history was staggering.
Yeah.
They didn't know it because they weren't allowed to learn it.
Right.
Which is just what's happening in our schools today. The communists have to erase the past, to write their own past, to justify the horrors they're committing presently. That's part of it. And you sort of see it happening again. And I mean, the most rabid patriots that I've met have been people from communist countries. And they say, my God, what are you people doing? We came here to get away from that. And you're voting it in. You're allowing it in. It's insane. I mean, they're kind of nuts about it. Alicia. Anyway. What else? Oh, reparations. You mentioned reparations. I'm all for reparations. That means put things back the way they were. I have a great reparation plan. Anyone who can prove that their ancestors were brought here against their will gets $5,000 and a ticket back to that country. But they have to sign an agreement swearing they will never attempt to enter the United States again. We'll repair them real good. Done. Here's your money. Get the F out. That's my reparations plan. Okay. One other thing I want to mention is Kim's got survival food here. Y'all need to really take a look at it. If y'all don't have enough food stocked away for at least a couple of weeks, you better get with Kim. And she's offering us a deal tonight. She's offering 50%, actually I'm lying, 10% off the prices that she's got marked, which are lower than anyone else sells them for. She's getting this stuff in bulk so that she can pass it along to us at a good price. Kim is such a doll. Gotta love Kim. Okay. The two raffles again. We've got the stuff that we're raffling off. We've got the bow that's going on. $20 for the bow. $20 for our tickets. Actually, not really. $20 for like 40 tickets or something.
I want to let everybody know that when the bow gets raffled off, $50 gets kicked back to the Okies.
Right. So that's a money maker for us as well. Okay, what else? We got some time to kill. How about we bring James Davis up here and see what he wants to rattle on about? Lawyers. First we kill all the lawyers.
Yeah.
No. I didn't say that. Shakespeare.
No. First of all, you'll notice that our cats people is not here tonight. So they've asked me to talk to you. We had our level 1 class for cats at Burrow Canyon this Saturday. It was spectacular. And what was so spectacular about it is the number of women that were there and how good they did. I have been given the unusual honor of being made a range safety officer for cats at the level 1 and level 2 courses. The level 3 is even better because it's Artemis. It is, you step into the video game and it is way too much fun. So if you ever think in a million years you're ever going to have to use self-defense, a firearm, to protect yourself, please get involved in the CAT system. And stuff. It's well worth the money, it's well worth the time, and it is fun. The next thing I want to talk to you about is how do you have, no pun intended, ammunition to fight with those people that think Ferguson riots is a good idea. I'll give you a little bit of ammunition to put in your magazine when it goes for that. Question number one, if everything in that case was exactly the same, except the suspect was white, would they be rioting?
No, of course not.
Well, why not? I mean, the officer obviously used excessive force. He obviously was unreasonable. What difference does the color of the skin make? Oops. Number two, ask the person who is giving you a hard time, how many felonies did Brown commit immediately before him getting shot? And I'm not talking about regular run-of-the-mill boring felonies. I'm talking about violent felonies. How many did he commit before he was shot? The answer is 2, possibly 3. Let me tell you what they are. Number 1 was strong-arm robbery where he got the cigars. He actually laid hands on the guy when he was stealing it. If you'll notice that video, there is a huge size differential between Brown, the bad guy, and the poor guy that he decides to beat up on. Now, his use of physical force to commit a robbery, is that a violent felony? I hope to shout. Okay, so we've got violent felony number 1. Violent felony number 2, he punches out a police officer. The last time I checked, that was a felony. And it's a violent felony because he punched him out.
He was in his car, right?
Yes. Yeah, and the guy was trying to drag him out of the car because he wanted to get to the next part, which we'll talk about. Now I have a test for you. What was the third felony?
Resisting arrest.
What's that?
Resisting arrest.
No, that's not a felony. That's just run-of-the-mill misdemeanor. What was the actual violent felony that Brown committed in the immediate presence of Wilson? He grabbed for his gun. He attempted to rob, by force and fear, the gun from the officer. We now have 3 violent felonies. Now, do you think that this is a guy you would like having wandering around your neighborhood? Do you think Mr. Brown would be the type of guy you'd like to have come over and maybe sell you some Amway or some Mary Kay or something at your house? Probably not. So was he a violent felon who was a risk to the community when the officer was trying to arrest him? Oh, I hope to shout. They showed that the people were lying. He was not shot in the back. 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 different forensic pathologists looked at it. All of them said the same thing. Nope, he was shot from the front. Okay. Was he threatening the officer? Oh, he was using language I can't even use here, and it was all unpleasant. So, did he show that he had a violent mentality when he's dealing with the officer? I hope to shout. So, is there anything else that we could do in that case other than do what that officer did? No, not that I can think of. Because what do you think would have happened to the department if Brown had hurt somebody else because the officer let him go? Do you think maybe the department would have gotten sued, maybe? Oops. The reason why they're burning down buildings and the reason why they are doing what they're doing is, and I'm sure that the pastor and the rabbi will agree with me on this one, because we're going to wax a little bit of religious here, is one of the 7 deadly sins, envy. These are people who don't work hard enough to have anything. They are envious of those who have it, and so they want to get even by taking it from those who do have it. That's why envy is a deadly sin, because it leads to violence. So when somebody asks me, why are they doing that? It's simple. It's one of the 7 deadly sins. They're envious. Let them argue that one
And
against
they're
it.
not following God, because God wouldn't tell them to do that.
Well, that's why it's called a deadly sin, last time I checked. That's why we do that. So is that a justification? No. But is it an explanation? Absolutely.
I think it's only an explanation to God-fearing people, because those are obviously godless people and they don't understand what sin is.
Well, they have a God. Unfortunately, their God is Satan, but that's another issue. We won't go there. We'll I don't want to embarrass Pastor Drake on that one. Step on his very good study on that. Now, what I do want to say is one of the things that I guarantee you, and I'm going to bring Linda Jones up here in just a second to talk about it, but one of the things I can guarantee you is, am I going to be using Ferguson in our use of force class? Oh, I hope to shout. Why? Do you think maybe you could use deadly force to protect yourself from rioters as a private citizen? Probably so, especially if they're coming to burn down your store, because the last time I checked, arson was a violent felony. So it gives you something to think about, something to look at. There is no justification for what's being done. Certainly, it's a shame that Brown was so stupid that he got himself shot, but that's the only thing that's sad, is he was that stupid. Now, any racism involved? Absolutely not. I don't care what color he was. As I was telling Jones, one of the things I do just to keep from avoiding any sort of comment about racism is, one of the things I really work on is every time I meet an African American that I'm going to be dealing with, first words out of my mouth is, "How are you doing today, sir?" And what does that do? They immediately go, "Wait a minute, that white boy just called me sir. What's going on here?" But it's a great way to start, because now they're like, I'm confused. What do I do now? So, a little bit of an interesting psychological trick. Absolutely. Does it work well? Well, I've never been drug into a fist fight with one of them. I end this thought with the fact that, having survived Rodney King Street Fair 1 and 2, I was the head of a tactical team that was in protecting a government building and an armory in Los Angeles during those 2 riots. I can tell you, rioters are not human. Somewhere along the lines they've checked their humanity at the door, and they've now become part of the mob mentality. So, how we can explain that? Don't know. But I ain't going to treat them as union? Nope, you're not human at that point. Once you start rioting, you just gave up your humanity. Now, if Ms. Jones will step up here and talk a little bit about what we got. And she got to bring up your really cool certificate. Yep. I want to see your certificate.
Okay. Hi. Okay, well, several people here have already attended our class. Stephen Davis gives a class that's 8 hours long, and believe it or not, he holds their attention for 8 hours. We get a break every hour, and it's talking about how to survive legally if you ever have to use force against a bad guy. And that could be by a gun, or it could be by a bat or something else. But of course, we talk about guns because that's the thing that people are most worried about. And believe it or not, there is a lot to learn that people don't know about your powers to do citizen's arrest, about how you deal with the 911 call, what you say, what you don't say, how you deal with the police when they come, and how you take how you deal with the situation. You have somebody here, what do you say and how do you act? How do you make sure that the police don't shoot you? There's a lot to think about. How do you deal with the courts? How do you deal with the interrogation? What if you shoot a black man? Automatically you're suspected, right? So these are all things that you have to think about. And the people that took the course, generally the feedback that I got was really, really positive. And we just, ta-da, we have a certificate that you get after you complete the class. So I have flyers to explain. We have a class going on in Fontana, the Logan's Roadhouse, on December 6th, Saturday, December 6th from 10 to 7. So that I have flyers, and also if you are interested or you haven't filled this out, you can put down at least an interest sheet, and then I can call you, keep you on the list and say, all right, well, gee, I'm interested, but I can't do it this month. Call me next month or something like that, and I'll let you know. But I feel very good about the class. I think it's very useful. That's all.
No, we got one more.
One more? What?
Well, we're going to be at Wiley Drake's place on January 17th.
Oh, yes. We're back at yes. Our very first class, by the way, was in the chapel on Wiley Drake's campus. And it worked out extremely well. He was really gracious, wonderful introduction and all that stuff. Very good facility, very comfortable. Plus, there was food right there and people to serve and all kinds of stuff. It was excellent. What I love about Wiley is he says he's a pistol packing pastor, or something like that. Okay, that's all I have to say. I appreciate you all, by the way.
Okay, terrific. That is going to about wrap us up, unless Roland has something. Am I forgetting anything? Okay. Okay, good. So, check out Kim's Food. Buy raffle tickets. I'm going to start, let's see, it's 10 of now. Probably shortly before 9, I'm going to start calling raffle numbers. So go buy your tickets. Buy the rabbi's book. He'll sign it for you and everything. And don't forget a bumper sticker. Do you have something? No? Okay. Great. Thank you all for coming tonight. I'll see you all in 2 weeks.